あなただけが無事に今日までを過ごしてるんです。
Disappeared when?
なぜあなただけなのか。私はそれが知りたいと言ってるんです。
シオンが失踪したって？
Yeah, like what the heck? Are you serious?
そんなバカな。
I intentionally raised my voice, but I didn't care about that. Tomitake-san died. Takano-san died. And Shion disappeared? When did she disappear? What is this guy talking about?
ありゃ？とっくにご存知だったとばかり。
No. You sneakily avoided the name Shion up until this point. Only at the end. Before, it was just Tomitake and Takano.
そんなのは初めて聞いた。シオンが失踪した？いつ？
遡ると綿流しの次の日に失踪していたことになります。
The day after Watanagashi. Wow. Going back a bit. Stop saying stuff I don't understand.
園崎しおんさんはその日の気分で親類の家を泊まり歩いたりしますので、所在不明が当たり前なんですよ。学校も気分一つでよく休みますしね。先生も困り果ててました。
そんなことは聞いてない。シオンはいつ失踪したかって聞いてるんだ。
ですから綿流しの次の日です。
The fluids of my body all reversed direction. I lost my sense of balance, and everything I could see started to warp and twist out of shape. Ooh. Okay, you know, thinking back on what I was talking about before, about my theory that maybe Shion switched places with Mion, and she was the one that we were with on the night when Rika disappeared, and she was having that meltdown about Satoko and Satoshi and such. That Mion was actually Shion, meaning that Shion was at the Mion's place, and not only was she talking to Keiichi as Mion, but also she got that phone call from Rena to hurry up and try and find Rika. And she was pretending to be Mion. That's what I'm seeing right over here. That, okay, Shion disappeared like the day after Watanagashi. And because of that, now she assumes the role of Mion. Even though that would mean that Mion has also disappeared on top of that. Shion didn't technically disappear. Shion made Mion disappear and replaced her. So, she would say that Shion disappeared, but in actuality it was Mion. But Keiichi is gonna think the opposite here. Shion disappears the day after, meaning that he's gonna ask himself, well, who was the one that I was talking to up until this point? He's gonna think that Mion is the one who is pretending to be Shion, and talked to Keiichi as Shion when in actuality was Mion. And thus, now Keiichi is gonna suspect Mion even more. He's gonna get scared even more of Mion. I simply couldn't endure it. Hang on. Shion had already disappeared? Then, that night, that phone call, who was that? She called me every night. She encouraged me. We vowed that we would do our best to live on and not be erased. Yes, that should have been on a phone call with Shion. Should have been a phone call with Shion.
学校は平気で休むし、それを自宅に知らせても取り合ってもらえないから、学校もいちいち電話しない。そんなこんなで、彼女が失踪したことに気づくのに、だいぶ時間がかかったんですよ。
Felt a stabbing pain like needles were being pushed into every pore of my body. Started on my back and began spreading throughout the rest of me. When it had completely covered the surface of my skin, it began to worm its way inside my stomach as well.
ほら、覚えてませんか？綿流しの次の日に、私たち図書館でお会いしたでしょう。 あの時シオンさんもいましたよね。あれが最後の目撃なんです。あの後彼女の所在は確認されてないんです。
そんなバカな。そんなバカな。
That day, Oishi-san had only caught me, and Shion bounded away, lying that she needed to go to work. Didn't she call me that night?
エンジェルモートっていうファミレスのバイトですよね。あの日から無断欠勤です。今日に至るまで全てを無断欠勤してるんです。お店の人も連絡を取ろうにも取れず困りきってましたよ。
そんなバカな。そんなバカな。
状況証拠だけですがね。図書館でお別れしてからバイト先に向かうまでこの間に失踪したと考えるのが妥当でしょうね。
Right after Shion ran away without me?
ご存知なかったみたいですね。
Shion disappearing after the meeting at the library, but before going to work. It would be on that same timeline as when the mayor disappeared as well.
なら先に話せばもっと話が早かったかな。もうこれでご理解いただけたでしょう。あとはあなただけなんです。あなただけが西宮殿に忍び込んだ4人の生き残りなんです。
It couldn't be. Just couldn't be.
次に何か起こるとすればそれはあなたなんです。前原さん、どうかご理解を。
It can't be. It can't be. It can't be. Shino already disappeared? That couldn't be. It couldn't be. I talked to her the day before yesterday. I talked to her last night. She was going to call me again today. That was Shion on the phone. Shion on the phone. It was from Shion. From Shion.
シオンさんはとっくに失踪してるんです。次はあなたなんですよ。
Then who was on the phone those past nights? Who was on the phone those past nights? Who was on the phone those past nights?
そんなバカな。
The plot surely thickens. I lay down on the couch and stayed there dazed for a while. My mind was completely blank. I couldn't think about anything more than a few seconds. Yeah, I feel ya. I feel ya. There was a note in my house saying that mom and dad would be home late and that I should have some ramen or something for dinner. Oh boy, mom and dad are gonna be late? That is surely not gonna be a sign for something bad to happen while they're gone. Maybe. I could make it whenever I got hungry. But I had no appetite. So I just stared blankly at the ceiling without even eating anything. The ends of the clock were already pointing at 10. Would I get another phone call like that today? Even though Shion had already disappeared, would she still call me? Where were they calling from? And who were they? I mean, imagine, maybe we are gonna get a phone call, but Shion being like really smart, they're gonna pretend to be Mion instead. Because as far as we know, Mion is not gone. But the more I thought about it, the more I started to tremble. I even thought about just disconnecting the phone line. If I'd been thinking a little less logically, I really would have done it too. Hold on, Keiichi Maebara. Oishi-san admitted it himself, didn't he? That Shion went missing a lot. Could he have just gone to relatives that Oishi-san didn't know about and have been there ever since? Shion and I were both being targeted by somebody, so it wouldn't be strange to think she went somewhere she usually didn't in order to hide. That must have been why Oishi-san couldn't locate her, and why he labeled her a disappearance. That is, I cannot say that I really believe that. For him to call it a disappearance just like that. Yeah, that had to be it. Shion hadn't disappeared at all. Then my right hand moved of its own volition and slapped me on the cheek. It's cold sting, let me calm down a little.
都合よく考えすぎるなよ、前原圭一。
I knew I didn't want to admit she had disappeared. Admitting it would mean that something terrifying was definitely happening. I just needed to figure out whether Shion was the one on the phone or not. Would I ask her if she was actually Shion? That seemed like an incredibly absurd thing to do.
でも、逃げるな、圭一。
If this person on the other end still believed that I thought she was Shion, and that gave me a tiny advantage. Casually, completely casually, I would listen to what she had to say and fend her off. I would tear the skin of the monster. It would definitely be really scary for me. However, as the last survivor of the people who went into the storehouse that night, this was my duty to perform. Still, the one who would call me and pretend to be Shion. I may have only heard her over the phone, but her voice shouldn't be that easy to replicate. That was definitely Shion's voice. It sounded just like her. Well, you know what? That could be true. It is really, really similar to Shion, because, well, that really was Shion. Though I do believe that she would be able to replicate Mion's voice, like, perfectly, in my opinion. It could have only been Shion. Cause yeah, according to what I was thinking before about Shion replacing Mion, when she was talking to Keiichi, she was indeed talking as Shion. There was no switcheroo there. It's just that she did the switcheroo like somewhere else. There was someone though, wasn't there? Someone who sounded just like Shion. Mion. Who else could have done this? At this point, seriously, after all this time, all those little things that didn't quite make sense about Mion until now overwhelmed my mind. Like being questioned about sneaking into the ritual storehouse, and how she shook the letter while spouting curses. Who else could have? Why though? Why would Mion? I thought back to the things about the Sonozaki family that I had heard from Oishi-san and Shion. Mion was always entangled in the incidents, in a position where she was omnipotent. Some of that information included things that Shion had told me after she disappeared. I madly scratched at my head. Courage. Give me the courage. Just a little bit of courage to pick up the phone. I know it will ring tonight. It would be so easy to run away. That, though, would be the same as making it easy for them to erase me. I cannot run. I must stand up and face it. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Keiichi, my brother. After all, the next sacrifice would definitely be me. I was sure Shion would use tricky words to try and trap me. Be careful. Be careful. Scared. I'm scared. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Yep. There it is. At that point, it rang. The phone rang. And I didn't know where the call was coming from. Shion had disappeared. Disappeared a long time ago. Disappeared the night after Watanagashi. Yet, until today, she had been calling me like nothing happened. Now, again, tonight, the people that had disappeared, their corpses simply haven't been found. I really didn't think they were alive. So if it really was Shion on the other end, then did that mean she was calling me from another world? Ooh. That would be freaking awesome. Like she's basically calling from the land of the dead. have been there quite a lot. Of course, that couldn't be. Wait. There are phones in the land of the dead? I don't know. Like last time I checked, it was like a lot of forests and a really long road that I'm still walking to this day. A living being was calling me, pretending to be Shion. Shion was long gone, and yet as though she were alive and well. The phone continued its incessant ringing. I didn't want to pick up if I didn't have to. Okay, like I'm thinking about this. Like Keiichi's going this route where, okay, he's probably gonna be thinking that Mion is on the other end. When in actuality, well, yeah, that could very well be Mion in his eyes, since Shion disappeared. In my eyes, it would be making a lot of sense if Shion would pick up the phone to call Keiichi and she'll be pretending to be Mion, though, not Shion. As far as Shion wants us to know, she wants us to know that she disappeared, so that now she can only pretend to be Mion. So, Or there is that possibility that Keiichi's gonna think that, oh, it's actually Shion. She's alive. But at some point, Keiichi's gonna think that this is Mion pretending to be Shion. So, I don't know. Keiichi and I, we might end up going like completely separate ways of viewing this in a parallel, opposite way. I guess we shall see. I just concluded though that not doing so wouldn't solve anything. I mean, you know, in the end, we don't have any conclusive evidence for this. It's all because of what Oishi told us and because of my previous theories about the connection between Keiichi and Satoshi. That's it. And then, what would I do after I answered it? Would I immediately declare she wasn't Shion? And ask who she was? Alternatively, would I pretend I was still fooled and try to grab her by the tail? You can try that.
それが一番安全かもしれないよな。
What I was most afraid of was that the person on the phone would do when she realized I knew she wasn't Shion. However, as long as I continued to let her think I was fooled, she wouldn't do anything extreme, right? If I just make sure to be careful, that should be the safest option. Like, yeah, basically whoever it is, just try to play into their fingers a little bit, without letting them know that you're being suspicious here. I made up my mind. I'll answer the phone. Once I do that, I'll talk to her as if nothing happened. And that wasn't all I'd do this time though. I'd scope her out. Who was she? What was she thinking? What was she after? Why was she doing this? Was she really the one who killed Mitake and Takano-san? What happened to the mayor? What happened to Rika-chan and Satoko? I reached out for the receiver, my arm trembling. There were too many things I wanted to know, too many things I wanted to ask. I was scared. I should start by picking up the phone. Pick it up, Keiichi! Pick it up, Keiichi!
もしもし。
Hello. Sorry that it took us like a really, really long time to answer that phone call. You were pretty nice to call for like 10 minutes there until Keiichi picked up. Oh, how relieved I would have been if it hadn't been a call from Shion.
あ、ケイちゃんですか？私です。
Shion.
シオンです。
My momentary convenient, and above all, fleeting prediction was ripped into 1,000 pieces. Okay. So, we're going this route. It's still gonna be Shion who we're gonna be talking to. I couldn't help shaking at this point. Get ready for this.
電話、なかなか出なかったんで、お留守かと思って切ろうとしてたんですよ。
Or, Keiichi is gonna think that this could very well be Mion that is pretending to be Shion. And just like I said.
ごめん。ちょっとお風呂に入っててさ。
That could be Shion's plan as well, to make us even more suspicious of Mion while we're doing this.
それでも、ご家族の方が電話を取りませんか？ひょっとして、ケイちゃんの家、今ご両親はお留守なんですか？
I failed. I let her in on a fatal piece of information. I was currently the only one at my house.
いや、別に、留守ってわけじゃ。そんなことより、聞いたか？リカちゃんとサトコの件。
いえ、結局、あの後どうなったんですか？見つかったんですか？
ああ、見つからなかった。
ケイちゃん、どうか気を落とさないで。
If Wish-san hadn't let me know, then I might have allowed myself to shed a tear or two at Shion's considerate words. Instead, now that I come to this, I couldn't take her words at face value. This person on the other end of the receiver, the more perfect as Shion they were, the more my blood curdled in fear.
リカちゃんとサトコは、さらわれたんだよな。
はい。それは間違いないでしょうね。
Just how cruel and grave a meaning did those words hold? And their weight astonished me. And then a moment later, I was overcome with numbness and felt like I would pass out. I had asked if Rika-chan and Satoko had been kidnapped. Shion, in turn, had answered that there wasn't much doubt. And that cruel meaning behind her words.
リカちゃんとサトコは、いや、ごめん。村長さんは、さらわれて、どうなったと思う？まだ、生きてるんだろうか？
What happened to Rika-chan and Satoko after they were kidnapped? That's what I wanted to ask, but I frantically caught myself. What if she had given that question a terrifying response, in such a way to sound like it had nothing to do with her? I was scared of that, so I immediately brought up the mayor. That said, however, okay, that gave me a little bit of a goosebump there. Whew. Like I didn't touch I didn't touch to continue that text. It just ended before I even started to read that.
おいおい、そんなにあっさり。
人間をさらって、その状態を維持するのってとても大変なことだと思います。人質にするんでもない限り、ヨンが済んだら殺しちゃうのが一番合理的じゃないかと。
The world started to bend so much I almost lost my balance. The scenery in my eyes rolled around and around like the hands of a clock, and tried to swallow me whole from below. I frantically put a hand on the wall to support myself. A moment later, a severe nausea welled up within me. How was she saying such things so lightly?
殺しちゃうって、そんなにあっさり。人の命を何だと思ってやがるんだ。
恐ろしいことだとは思いますが、多分そうではないかと。
When the mayor was killed, did that mean the same had happened to Rika-chan and Satoko? No, that couldn't be. It wasn't some random old man. It was Rika-chan. It was Satoko. They couldn't kill them so readily. And the thought of them being killed.
リカちゃまとサトコちゃんも同じだと思った方がいいでしょうね。
Those were the words I wanted to hear the least. and I fought them back with a scream of my own. Even though it wouldn't change anything, still, couldn't help but scream. This time, the tears flowed. I've been confronted with the most horrific outcome. I've been trying to avoid considering ever since last night. And I cried. There was no longer any doubt that it was my fault. I killed them. I killed Rika-chan and Satoko. No, you did not, Keiichi. God damn it, I succumbed to the weakness of my own heart and confessed everything to Rika-chan. That's why they were killed. And that meant I killed them. When Rika-chan looked at me with those innocent eyes, if only I hadn't given in. Even my voice gave out. And yet still, I cried. And cried.
ケイちゃん、どうか気を確かに。
Rika-chan and Satoko, they've been killed. I couldn't even find their remains. I would never be allowed to even apologize to their faces. Even that was to be my punishment. And how brutal a punishment it was. I think Sean tried to comfort me, but I didn't hear any of it.
そんなことでどうするんですか？次に狙われるのは確実に私かケイちゃんなんですよ。お願いですから、しっかりしてください。お願いします。お願いしますから。
Sean was shouting, imploring me with a voice that sounded like tears were in her eyes. However, I was coming to hate the sound of that voice more and more. This Shion killed them. I had no doubts that this person killed them. Why? Why?
どうしてだよ。どうして人をさらったり殺したりするんだよ。たたりだかなんだか知らないが、人の命ってのはそんなに安いのかよ。あっさり消したり殺したり。
ええ、全くです。悪魔ですよね。
I felt like crushing the receiver in my hand. How long? Did this person plan on acting like it was someone else's problem? There was magma in the pit of my stomach. I felt like it was going to erupt at any moment.
なあ、シオン、教えてくれ。どうしてこのひなみ沢では綿流しの夜に人が死ななければならないことになってしまったんだ。
それは私が知りたいです。
もうダム計画との戦いは終わったんだぞ。なのにどうしてまだたたり足りないんだ。どうしてだよ。どうして。理由があるなら言ってみろよ。
I was incoherent at this point. My emotions had broken through the dam inside of me, rushing forth, and I couldn't stop them. These were not simple questions. This was an interrogation. Shion herself hadn't realized it yet. It was just too funny. Yeah, she's not realizing that we are asking her specifically. It was so funny that I couldn't stop crying.
ケイちゃんの気持ち、私もよくわかります。ダム闘争はとっくの昔に終わったんです。なのに毎年、お社様のたたりという名の殺人と失踪が繰り返されている。なぜ？どうしてなんですか？全然関係ない人もいた。たたられるのに不相応な人だっていたのに、どうして？どうして？
それを俺が聞いてるんだ。
それを私だって知りたいんですよ。
Both our ragged breaths could be heard over the phone.
いいですか？お社様のたたりなんて非現実的なものは初めから存在しません。ケイちゃんの言う通り、村の何者かがお社様のたたりというもっともらしい大義名分を利用して綿流しのたびに殺しと失踪を繰り返しているんです。奴らは狡猾でした。たたりを都合よく利用して村の旧敵を毎年2人ずつ消し去るシステムを構築していったんです。そしてこのシステムで今年は高野さんたちが殺された。
じゃあ2人で十分じゃねえかよ。どうして村長やリカちゃんやサトコまで殺されなくちゃならないんだよ。それに俺は過去のことは今さらどうでもいいんだ。リカちゃんとサトコがなぜ殺されなくちゃならなかったのか、 どうしてなんだ。聡子には打ち上げですらないんだぞ。どうして聡子まで。どうしてなんだ。
Silence fell between us. Shion didn't answer for a while.
ケイちゃん、もういじめないでください。
A sob. Shion crying?
私だって何が何だかわからないんです。最後殿に忍び込んだあの晩から全てが変わってしまった。
It was the same for me. As I listened to Shion's bitter weeping, I could feel my agitation subsiding.
あの晩、高野さんたちが死んだと聞き、耳を疑いました。そして、すぐに気づいたんです。今度は、自分が狙われる立場になったんだって。忍び込んだのは、私たち4人。私とケイちゃんだけが、都合よく許してもらえるわけがない。そう思ったとき、それがどれだけ心細くて恐ろしいことだったか、ケイちゃんにはわかりますよね。
Oh, he knows it full well at this point. There was nothing fake about her words. She'd even understood how I felt.
だから私、君吉のおじいちゃんに打ち明けたんです。私はみんなが入ってはいけないという最後殿に面白半分な気持ちで踏み入ってしまいました。いけないことだとは分かっていましたが、本当に面白半分な気持ち、ちょっとした探検気分のつもりだったんです。一緒に入った高野さんたちはその後すぐに殺されてしまいました。それもあんなむごい最後。あの日からいつ私も襲われるのではないかと怯えています。君吉のおじいちゃんしか助けてくれる人がいません。だからおじいちゃん、助けてって。君吉のおじいちゃん、怒らなかった。そしてにっこり笑って、しおんちゃんがちゃんと反省してるなら鬼隠しになんかなるものかって、本当に笑いながら任せなさいって。
Shion cried bitterly, recalling the beloved mayor's death. It was such a sad voice, and that none who heard it could prevent it from twisting their hearts. Again, I let my emotions take over and go off at her? Shion was in the same situation as me. She should have been my one and only comrade. Yeah, there's also that way of viewing it. And in the end, Shion is just as innocent as Keiichi is in all this, and she is just as much of a victim in this. Thump. My heart pounded. My other self, deep within my mind, whispered to me. Don't forget Keiichi, Maibara. Don't forget about the mayor. On the morning after Watanagashi. He was told of Takano-san and Tomitake-san's deaths over the phone and committed to a meeting that evening. He went to a hospital appointment. He didn't tell his family. He only made it back just in time for the meeting. He went straight to the assembly hall. That's what Oishi-san said.
いつ村長に打ち明けたんだよ。
When did you tell the mayor about this?
ごめんな、シオン。悲しい気持ちのところに追い打ちをかけるようで。シオンは打ち明けたんだよな。君吉のおじいちゃん、つまり村長に。
はい。
いつ打ち明けたんだよ。
I began to get scared of saying it out loud after hearing her sad voice. I wasn't saying it was contradictory, though. Besides, if there was a contradiction, then I wanted Shion to explain it to me.
村長さんは重い痔を患ってて、病院にかかっていたという話は知ってるか？
ケイちゃん、それが何か。
答えてくれ。知らないなら知らないと答えればいい。
There was a momentary silence. She's thinking. Then after stammering a few times, she replied.
痔だったのは知ってます。座るときとか辛そうでしたから。
病院に通ってたんだ。どこの病院かは知ってるよな？
ごめんなさい。それはちょっと知りませんけど。でも、ケイちゃん、それが一体何の...
Shion didn't know what hospital the mayor went to. That meant it was impossible for her to have gone all the way to the hospital to confess everything. Since she didn't know his destination, then she obviously couldn't have seen him on the train either. So that means there is one place where they could have talked. If there was one anywhere chance for her to contact him, it would have been after he came to Hinamizawa. The train, however, had been delayed, and he only got back right after the meeting was about to start. He didn't have time. It wouldn't have been enough time for him to listen to Shion spill the beans.
単刀直入に聞きたいんだ。シオンはいつ村長に打ち明けたんだ？どこで？いつ？大雑把でいいから教えてほしいんだ。
ケイちゃん、なんでそんなことを。
Her sob pierced into my ears. I was taken by the illusion that I was bullying her. Even so, I'll say it. Yeah. I mean, we want to figure out what happened. Who did it? I don't think it's that much of a difficult question, right? If I'm wrong, then please correct me. Please prove to me that you're the real Shion.
ありえないんだよ。村長が失踪した日、朝から消えるまでシオンには接触できる機会はありえないんだ。
そんな。
村長は朝一で誰にも内緒の大学病院へ一人で診察に出かけた。シオンは今この病院を知らないと言った。だから帰ってくるまで村長と接触することはできないはずだ。そうだろ？帰りの電車が事故で遅れたので自宅に帰ってきたのは会合の始まる直前だった。つまり会合が始まるまでの時間にも打ち明ける時間的余裕はないんだ。
Shion, repeating her weak sobs. In that sort of feminine voice, automatically ripped into my heart. So painful for me to say it.
シオンも一緒に会合に出たのか？そして会合の席上で打ち明けたのか？ここで打ち明けなきゃもう時間がないもんな。村長は帰宅途中で失踪するんだから。
Shion went to the meeting, didn't she? Did she or didn't she? The question was so simple to answer, but she didn't give me an immediate response.
実は会合にで。
あの日、シオンが行くと言ったバイトすら君は欠勤してるんだ。もっと端的に言おう。君は俺と一緒に行った図書館以降誰にも目撃されていない。
ケイちゃん、
園崎シオンは綿流しの翌日に失踪したんだ。
The other end, I fell silent as the grave. It was so quiet that it was like the phone cord had been cut. I couldn't sense anyone there.
大石さんは君がすでに失踪していると言っているんだ。でもシオンはこうして毎晩俺に電話をかけてきてくれただろ。
Yeah, basically going straight to the point here. Shion's sobs were torturing me. Still, I'm pretty sure I haven't said anything wrong.
頼む、シオン。俺が言ったことが間違ってるなら、そうだと言ってくれ。シオン、頼むから。シオン、お前は村長に会ってなんかないんだ。もし会ったとしたなら。
Shion never did have the chance to meet with the mayor on that day. Then that meant...
村長が会合を終えた後、すなわち失踪する直前、もしくは失踪してからしかありえないんだ。
Beep, beep. When the dial tone. Okay. I stood there dazed for a while until I realized she had hung up on me. Alright, Keiichi, I think that it's time for us to barricade the house, like once more. I'm gonna bring the rifles and the chainsaw. Alright, let's see. Like, how many of these scrapbook notes are we gonna have here? The problem with twins. And this is not just limited to Hinamizawa, but in Onigafuchi village especially, the three families detested giving birth to twins as successors. Yeah, we've heard of that. The long-term dictatorship built on the precarious balance of the three families must have feared collapsing under the weight of internal strife from things like family quarrels. According to the literature, if twins were born, then they had to be culled. With that, the very fact that both the Sonozaki family successor, Mion Sonozaki, and her twin, Shion, are alive is in itself deeply interesting. Perhaps the current leader, Oryo, is sympathetic. Of course, the twins were not cared for equally, and as their heir, Mion received special treatment. From what I heard, despite the two of them looking exactly the same on the outside, the talent lies solely with Mion. My own observations of the two of them don't leave me with that impression. Tradition dictates that the leader of the Sonozaki family is said to inherit a demon, and they tattoo a magnificent one onto his or her back. Really now? Even a tattoo? In accordance with the tradition, there is an extremely high possibility that Mion has such a tattoo on her back. From what I heard, there is apparently a magnificent demon tattooed on Orio's back as well. Then, I wonder what sort of taboo belongs to the heir, Mion. I really want to see her back. That could prove useful to us as well in the future. Especially if Mion has such a tattoo. Reserved for the day. Suzu Mahjong Parlor. Mahjong Parlor? Clatter clack.
あんりゃ、クラちゃん、あんたが一番遅いよ。若い人はみんな揃ってる。
じゃあお母さん、すみませんね。
Oishi handed over the convenience store bag with a carton of cigarettes in it to the old lady who owned the mahjong parlor, and she surely meant herself scarce. She was used to this by now.
Oi-san, お疲れ様っす。
Yeah, I mean, you know, as much as we love Oishi and we think of him like really hot and such, he is up there in age. He has to start thinking about the ladies of the highest tier, so to speak.
なんだ、みんな真面目に待ってたんですか？さんまでもやってりゃよかったのに。
Everyone sitting at the mahjong tables in the small parlor were Oishi's subordinates, but there were no towels laid out anywhere.
皆さん、連日の不眠不休の捜査、本当にお疲れ様です。
よし！
Whoosh! And the general responses filled the parlor. Already, it had lost the atmosphere of a place of entertainment.
状況は芳しくありません。所長が園崎系議員の恫喝に屈したそうです。近日中に高野殺しはお隣の県警さんに譲り、村長たちの失踪は行方不明扱いで生活課に委ねるようです。
No permission to check the storehouse, sadly. Yeah. This is now going to be swept under the rug even more because of how difficult it is to do this. That damn upstart chief. The veterans in the room cursed him.
請求した令状もすべて却下されました。課長からは園崎家界隈には近づくなとまで言われています。いや困ったもんです。ちなみに私には来週から警視庁への研修命令が出るそうです。その後は余った有給を伊豆で消化しろとまで言われています。いや、そういうのも悪くないですね。
He heard a few dry laughs. It wasn't anything to laugh about, but that was all they could do.
いつもそうですが、事件と車のキーの閉じ込めはよく似ています。車なら修理業者を呼んで扉をこじ開ける。事件なら、熊ちゃん、図面を。
Kumagai flipped over the whiteboard. On the back was a map of the Sonozaki premises made with magnets.
私もずーっとこの商売をやってます。勘には自信があるつもりですがね。今回ばかりは外れるかもしれませんよ。退職金が欲しい方は、私が10数える間に席を外してください。
Oishi began to count to 10, and everyone counted along with him. It was their famous 10-count resolution.
9、10。ああ、誰も出てかないよ。皆さん、ご家族はもっと大切にしてくださいよ。
They surely love the action. Everybody laughed uproariously, cheering things up.
各自、手元の資料を確認。監視カメラの所在と死角を叩き込んでください。クマちゃんは指揮者で待機。非常時は私に代わって指揮をお願いしますよ。小宮山君は突入 A 班、淳君は突入 B 班を指揮。
Meanwhile, I'm just going to continue my job. Stay put with Keiichi. To the best of my abilities.
監視班は1から8まで所定の位置で監視を。ボンチ君はタイムテーブルを厳守。署に怪しまれないようローテを管理してください。さて、待機中の班が一番大仕事ですよ。課長に私の所在を聞かれたらとぼけてください。ゲストのエスコート役は私がやります。きっと会場へ連れて行きますので、皆さん気長に待っててください。
落ちるっすかね、前原圭一は。
私の見たところじゃ、明日明後日には行けそうですよ。もうコロッとね。
I guess so. That is, if Yoichi and your gang are gonna end up doing that. Otherwise, maybe Keiichi's gonna disappear once again. Ooh. Man.
ケイイチ。
放っておいてやれ。友達が行方不明になったんだ。気の毒にな。
Normally, my dad never shows me any consideration. But this time he did. Well, I mean, of course he does. I mean, he loves you too, Keiichi.
うちの圭一もしばらくの間学校を控えた方がいいんじゃないのか？警察が何とかするまで外出を控えた方が安全だと思うぞ。
Staying home from school. Now that I'm thinking about it, if I am correct with what I'm thinking in the investigation, a particular something should happen by this point. Right? Let's see.
そうね。もしもってことに比べたら、学校を何日かお休みにするくらい
それよりもこんな物騒な事態になったら学校なんか休校にするのが筋じゃないのか？
Right? Like, they're even giving us like extra homework. God damn it.
まったく学校の先生方は人の子を何だと思ってるんだ。
I know, right? I love you, Dad. Mom and Dad were getting pretty riled up. But at this point, I couldn't care less. Besides, that wasn't the only thing I couldn't care less about. The breakfast table, the food in front of me, the time and date, myself. I really had no interest in anything. This feeling, it was like a dead fog in my mind. It felt like getting dizzy after talking strong medication.
圭一、学校の勉強はどうなんだ？圭一の方が進んでるくらいじゃないのか？もしそうなら、しばらくお休みしてもいいんだぞ。
I didn't feel like answering. Today was Thursday. Only 4 days had passed since the Watanagashi festival. Okay, let me explain what I was referring to before. Like, if a particular something happens here. What I mean is, if Keiichi's gonna end up sick, and that he's gonna end up at the hospital yet again to get some medication or something like that again. I was thinking that. Maybe it will still happen. Such a short time. Yet now things were completely different. Everything had changed. The tranquil village, bright and clear as if it were an Indian summer, had undergone a total reversal. Yeah, you know, it is a complete reversal, in a way. I mean, Rena was the main demon, but also Mion as well, in that sense. Rika and Satoko, they didn't disappear. But here, Rika and Satoko disappeared. Mion is the main demon that we worry about the most. Whereas Rena, she is quite peachy in this one. It's basically like her taking a vacation. This is her recreation chapter of her not being a demon. People were made to disappear every night, and couldn't even relax when they were walking out in broad daylight. Now that had become a world of fear. I had no right to curse this outcome. After all, the one responsible for everything was me. That night, I couldn't resist my honestly tiny little and incredibly stupid curiosity, and broke the taboo.
ここは入ってはいけないところなんだろう。やめようぜ。鍵がかかっているのを勝手に開けて押し入るなんて、たとえ物を盗まなくったって犯罪なんだぞ。シオンだってこれが密会現場じゃないと分かったなら十分だろう。俺はこんなのには全然興味はないんだ。こんなところにいる間にリカちゃんの演舞が終わっちゃったらどうするんだよ。
I prattled on as I took the lock from Tomitaka-san's hands and put it back on the door. Yeah, look at this alternative, responsible Keiichi right over here, from a different dimension, from a different universe. Look at him. I'll forget everything I saw here. So come on, let's go. Bunch of ruffians. Takano-san was fretting, but I pushed her away. Nee, suck it. Tomitaka-san grinned painfully. Shion's shoulders drooped as if to call me an idiot. Even so, I didn't care. I pushed everyone farther and farther away. Rika-chan's dance was still going on. Then, at last, her dance was brought to a close with a roaring applause. With no mistakes whatsoever. I, too, until my hands turned red, I clapped. And I clapped, smiling. And then the days would end up just as peaceful as before. But sadly, reality is hitting us like a truck. Like the truck from the first chapter.
レナちゃんじゃない？いつもの時間だから迎えに来たんじゃない？
Rena! I looked up at the clock. It was 5 minutes past my time to meet with Rena.
圭一、しばらく学校を休んだ方がいいんじゃないのか？
そうだね。
Yeah, I guess, but I want us to spend some time with Rena, you know.
気を使ってくれてありがとう。
I rose from my seat. I went to the entrance to greet Rena. Ah, yeah, you cute little Rena.
今日から集団登校だから遅れちゃダメだよ。
That's right. If we, the ones farthest away, were to be late, the younger kids on the way there would be waiting for us.
俺さ、今日からしばらく休むことにするよ。学校。
うん。
Rena answered shortly, nodding.
圭一くんが自分の体に一番優しい過ごし方を選ぶべきだと思う。
I mean, you know, Rena, you could take a break from school as well. And then we could spend some time together, like here in this house, and play some games ourselves.
だから別に引け目を感じることなんかないと思うな。あ、それからこれ回覧板お母様に渡しておいてくれるかな。
A notice?
いろいろ大事なお知らせがあるみたいだから。
I took the notice. There were a lot more pages than normal. The one on top announced the disappearance of the mayor, Rika, Satoko, It made my heart ache.
警察も必死に探してくれてる。きっと見つかるから待ってよね。
Rena said, smiling in an attempt to give me courage. Rather than that though, her smile looked like it was because she herself wanted to believe they were safe.
レナは俺を問い詰めないんだな。
うん。
レナは知ってるんだろ。俺があの晩
西宮殿に忍び込んだことかな。
I was speechless for a moment, but then I bit my lip, made up my mind, and nodded a little.
筒抜けなんだな。まったく悪いことはするもんじゃないよ。
みーちゃんはすごく怒ってたよ。
So she was upset. I suppose she would have been.
でもね、きっとみーちゃんが怒ってたのは忍び込んだことよりもそれを隠していたことだと思うの。圭一くんは自分から言い出して謝らなくちゃいけなかったんじゃないかな。
I should have told her myself and apologized. I guess in a way similar fashion to how you handled that doll situation, a.k.a. That troubled me. Just 1 week ago, I did something that I myself should have apologized to Mion for. Yeah, exactly. I had hurt her badly. I hadn't realized that at all. Plus, with all the confusion that Shion's appearance had brought, I still hadn't been able to talk to Mion about it. Well, you realized it eventually and it was too late. But yeah, you should have talked to Mion about it.
レナの言う通りだな。俺はいつもレナに教えられるまで何も気づかなくて。
圭一くん、もしもだよ。もしも圭一くんが悪いことをしたことをすぐに認めてみーちゃんに謝っていたら、リカちゃんとさとこちゃんはいなくならずに済んだのかな。
Yeah, I wonder. I couldn't answer right away. Couldn't admit to that. Wasn't Rana telling me right now, though, that I should have admitted to my crime sooner? If I hadn't done that and apologized, would things not have gone in such a horrible direction? Rana's eyes were filled with kindness, but they weren't naive enough to forgive me for keeping silent, and they stared fixedly into my own.
ああ、そうだ。
If I admitted to my crime sooner, then Rika-chan and Satoko wouldn't have had to die or disappear. Smack! The palm of Rena's hand slapped me in the cheek. Bleh! I stood there unmoving, my head still tilted in the direction I'd been hit. It didn't hurt at all.
誰も圭一くんのことを叱らなかったと思う。だから私が代わりに圭一くんを叱るね。
I guess so. I pressed a hand to my cheek, now warm with embarrassment, and quietly stared down at Rena's feet.
入ってはいけないところに勝手に入るのはとても悪いこと。それはわかる？
Yes.
ああ。
返事ははいだよ。
Yes.
ケイチ君。
はい。
そしてもっと悪いのは自分が悪いことをしたのを認めないこと。悪いことをするのはとてもいけないことだけど、それを認めて謝らないことはもっともっと悪いことなんだよ。
Yes. Actually, why do I feel sad about it? I didn't do this. I'm just following Keiichi right over here. Like, with that stare, she really is making me feel guilty despite that.
はい。僕が悪かったです。
I mean, it's not like I have any power in changing the timelines that I'm being here, but nonetheless, Rena is looking at me as if I could do something. For a few moments, Rena stared at me, silently and intently, as if gauging my remorse. Then, finally, the tension in her face softened, and she smiled.
じゃあ、もう時間だから、私は行くよ。
ああ。
回覧板、お母様に渡しておいてね。あと、回覧板は暗くなったら持っていかないようにって注意付きだから。
I bent down to pick up the notice, which I dropped when she slapped me. The pages had come out of the clasp and were now making a mess on the floor. I gathered them one by one. My hand stopped at a single, more light-hearted page, with peaceful sentences dancing on it. We still have plenty of homemade soy sauce in stock. Feel free to come to the Sonozaki house if you want some. Oh. Well, there is the evidence. There is some evidence there. You found one.
なんだこれ。
I picked up the page and scanned the rest of it. They were stockpiling high-quality soy sauce they got from faraway relatives in the Akita prefecture. They had gotten a big shipment recently, and they couldn't use it at all. So they wanted anyone who wanted some of it to feel free to come over, is what it said. Yeah, I guess so. I remember what I said, that Rika and Satoko would go after some soy sauce from a place where they would feel like, you know, from a place that they are familiar with. And I was thinking they would be Mion's place. Well, it is like right over here. But it also dawned on me, like, how big of a distance is between Rika and Satoko's place and Mion's place. That I do not know. It isn't Hinamizawa, but I don't know how big of a distance it is. But this right over here, this is extra motivation. Like, some of the best soy sauce? Yeah, I'm gonna go the extra mile. Like, in more ways than one, to get that soy sauce from my best friend Mion. As a PS, it said it arrived in barrels, and please bring a 2-liter bottle or other container for it. Yeah, and I guess this also implies that Rena knew, like, about who we were talking about when she was giving us that explanation for how Rika and Satoko disappeared. She knew. And that's how it tied together.
醤油をもらいに行くなら園崎家か。レナ、お前ひょっとして知ってたんじゃ。
Yeah, I think that she did.
うん、知ってた。
Rena had already been suspicious of Mion, as soon as she noticed that the big bottle of soy sauce was missing. Yeah. Because otherwise, Rika and Satoko could have just gone to, like, any nearby house to get the soy sauce, like, fast. But, yeah, I guess this And I guess this gives you more incentive to go to Sonozaki, to Mion, more than anybody else. Rika-chan had taken the bottle and gone to Mion's house, and there she was erased. Rika-chan wasn't coming back, so Satako called Mion's house, since she knew where she had gone, and then Satako got called there as well. That meeting on the day the mayor disappeared. Didn't Oishi-san say that the three families participated in it? The three families would include the Sonozaki family. Didn't he also say that the current leader was really old? So her heir, Mion, frequently stood in for her at public appearances? While the mayor was returning from the shrine, Mion called out and stopped him. She talked to him and invited him to their house, and then she made him disappear. So we're not just talking about Rika and Satoko having some connection with that house, but also the mayor as well. It's probably even simpler to make Shion disappear. Shion was part of the Sonozaki family. They probably knew exactly what she was doing at all times. I'm sure they even knew her part-time job schedule too. Thinking back, wasn't that Angel Moore's store managed by the Sonozaki family? Setting up an ambush for her there wouldn't have been any trouble at all. Yeah, there you go. So there's Keiichi thinking that Mion is at fault for this. Here's Keiichi thinking that Mion is at the center of this.
With
that decided, there was no need for me to be lazing around here. I put on my shoes and slipped past Rena to exit the house. When she stopped me.
私も行くよ。
レナ、学校はいいのかよ。
学校なんかよりもっと大切な用事だよ。
レナは来るな。この上、レナまで巻き込まれたら、俺は頭がどうにかなってしまうかもしれない。
And I didn't move her arm, which was blocking my way.
ケイチ君までいなくなったら、私も頭がどうにかなってしまうかもしれない。
Good point.
だから、ケイチ君だけを行かせない。
Then let's go together then. Rena argued boldly, as tears welled up in her eyes. I saw them, and I knew the strength of her resolve.
わかった。行こう。ありがとう、レナ。
Rena nodded slightly, but firmly, and finally let down the arm blocking me. Let's go. To Mion's house. I apologize for the crimes I've committed. Then we'll put an end to these twisted days. After that, I'll pray that once more we can return to those fun, lively days.